Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the 5 best books I read and the 5 worst books I read. So we're going to start with the best books first, and then we're going to go into the worst books. So the best books I read was, this is in no particular order, and it's only in my opinion. So if you have a different opinion, that's good. That's great. But these are my favorite books of 2018. So the first book is The Last Star. This one is I believe this is the last book of the Fifth Wave series. I highly recommend that series. I do have a video rant about it, but I really love this series. The first book is about these aliens that come to Earth and kind of, take over the Earth world. And it does have a little bit of romance. I would say tiny bit of romance. It's not romance heavy, so if you like romance, don't get into this. In your YA, don't read it. But it is definitely a really, I think it's very thought provoking. So it does talk about it's very thought provoking about, it has torture scenes. It has manipulation in it. It's just so good. I highly recommend it. The movie came out as well. There was a movie, and I love the Fifth Wave movie, hands down. But and it does include my favorite parts. But yeah, it's just really, really interesting. The next book I rated 5 stars was a novella, and this is called Darkness Under the Sun by Dean Koontz. And sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with Dean Koontz, so I haven't read all of his books, but the ones I have read are either way up high 5 star, and sometimes they're 3 stars or 2 stars or something. Darkness in the Sun does not disappoint. This is a prequel to another one I read, and it's about this kid who meets this grown adult, and they develop a friendship. And of course, it turns out this guy is not a good guy. But I won't spoil it for you what he is and stuff, but it is really interesting because you get surprised. I was literally surprised, even though it was a short novella and stuff like that. It was 2-3 hours, something like that, not very long, and I absolutely loved it. The third book I really loved was a new favorite. I read this on my Kindle, and it's called Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. And this book is so good. It's about a guy who, is emailing his friend named Blue, and they are both gay, gay. So they're both gay. They like boys, and it's just really interesting. I love this book. It's so chick lit. It's a chick lit book with a male on male romance, and it is really good. You don't know who Blue is, so I kept guessing who Blue was. I was like, oh, is he this guy? Oh, he's this guy. And I was like, no, it can't be, because this guy likes this girl. And, you're trying to guess who this guy is. And it's just really awesome. And then when you finally do, it's really awesome. It's just awesome. And, yeah. They do have a movie for this one as well called Love, Simon. It's a little different than the book because of how they filmed it, and how it kind of already portrays Simon as being gay, which I thought was hilarious. You know, in the movie, there's a scene with in the beginning of the movie, actually, there's a scene where Simon is looking out his bedroom window and sees a guy blowing the grass, right? He's working on the yard, basically, and he's like really, really like rugged and, you know, really, really smoking hot. And so he's like, really, really like trying to talk to him, and it's like he's flirting with him. Really hilarious. Highly recommend that film as well. Very cheeky. I love it. I love this one so much. Great for Valentine's Day. Great. Another one I read was Starflight. Believe it or not, I love this one. The author had, I think, had it based on the old movie with Julie Hahn and the guy, I forgot what it was called, but it was like with the rich girl, and the guy is not rich, and like she like ends up marrying him, and shenanigans happen in this comedy. This one is totally so good. This one takes place in space. It is kind of with Firefly and Farscape. If you've ever seen both of those shows, I highly recommend you do. And even read Starflight, because it is so good. It's just so amazing. It's about a girl who basically she was, you know, kind of has these like tattoos that kind of say that she was in jail and stuff. She's trying to get a job, and her only hope is to travel with her ex-boyfriend, who's basically, you know, not a good type of guy, or he's very not a good type of guy. But actually, it's not her ex-boyfriend; it's her, you know, a guy from college, or a guy from college. So this does take place on a ship, on a pirate ship. Absolutely loved all the characters, like all the characters, the snarky remarks, everything. It just was everything you could dream of. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And then the fifth book I loved was Sadie by Courtney Summers, and this book is the first book I read by Courtney Summers. Oh, it did not disappoint. It was so good. This is about a girl named Sadie, and she is off to find her sister, who has, or not, her sister's killer. Her sister died. So we already know that part, and she's off to find her killer. It also alternates between podcasts, which is the people who are trying to find Sadie. So Sadie is ahead of the ball game, you know, and then the podcasters are following her steps. And it's really interesting. I loved this book so much. It's a true crime. If you're a fan of true crime thrillers, I would definitely recommend this, and stuff like that. I'm planning on reading the audiobook next year. I'm so super excited about that because I hear the audiobook is fantastic. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay, the next, now we're going to talk about the most hated books for me. And these are ranges between 2 to 3 stars. Some of them I would have probably rated lower, so some of the content is different. Number 1 was Born at Midnight. This was I listened to this on the audiobook, so the audiobook was pretty good. I do recommend the audiobook, but, like the voice. But the story was very disjointed. It was about a girl who doesn't know what she is. She's some sort of supernatural creature, And you want to go up? And she's some sort of supernatural creature, but she doesn't know what type of supernatural creature she is. Um, so, you know, and you don't find out. That's the whole reason why I read this book, so I can find out what's supernatural. Why don't you find out? Another thing is that she is very, like, sexual, even though she's never had sex. Like, huh? That's really weird. So it does have a lot of romance in this one.
No, kids.
The second book I read, or the second book that is lower on my list of really worst book was Harvard Square. What are you doing? Harvard Square is about Harvard Square is about a young guy in his 20s, and he's in his what are you doing? He's in his 20s. He's in his 20s, and he meets this guy who's like older. He runs a taxi company, and they end up like partying. Kind of reminds me of don't bite! Don't bite! No biting. You're going down. Yeah. You want to sit up here? You can't bite me. Alright. So, then we have Harvard Square, and Harvard Square is basically, you know, and they do party. I don't know where I left off, but there's a guy who's about 24, and he's in college, and he's studying to be like really proficient in English and stuff. And there's another guy who's 40 or something, and he's driving a taxi, and it's not a good book at all. I didn't really like the narrator to this book, who was narrating it, and yeah. So I didn't really like the narrator, and I don't know. It wasn't that great. It wasn't great at all. I would think it's more like Catcher in the Rye, but it's less. I don't know. It's not as figuring out who he is. He's already in college. You should already know who you are when you're in college. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't really buy into it and stuff. Where is it? Number 3, which is 1984. One of the worst books ever I read this year, and this one I rated a 3-star, but only because of how graphic and disturbing it was. It is a disturbing book. It is about this boy, or this guy named Winston, and Winston is not, like, he's this very bland character, and he meets this girl, and they, like, make love and all this jazz. He also talks about his wife, which I was really interested in the wife part, where she went, why she had to go, why couldn't they produce children, that kind of stuff. I kind of wanted more of that, but instead they gave us more of this, you know, how he's still kind of married to her, so it's kind of weird. that he's like cheating on her in a way, and yeah, I didn't really like it. Don't think it's not really an amazing book. It is kind of a mind blower with Big Brother. I really loved that part, but I didn't like the romance. I think the romance kind of caught me off guard, and that's why it received a lower rating. The
Well, that's a surprise. Close your eyes while the magic happens.
fourth book was Ghost House. This one I also rated a 3 out of 5. It was okay, but the reason why I rated it that is I don't remember anything except the baby getting killed. Spoiler alert, by the way. But Ghost House is about a girl who visits this house, and apparently she can see ghosts, and again, I thought that was really cool, but there's a lot of ghosts that are like in historical, and he falls in love with a ghost. What the WTF? Like, how do you fall in love with a ghost? How do you kiss a ghost? How do you fall in love with a ghost? It's not like, you know, there's a boyfriend, you love your boyfriend, and he dies, and he becomes a ghost. That's different, you know? It's a ghost that she fell in love with. What the heck? And then he turns into a human in the end. How the heck? Ugh, I don't know. Yeah, that's one of my least favorite tropes is falling in love with a ghost. Like, what is it, author? What was your point? Alright. And the last one I rated a 2-star was The Goblin Empire. Yeah, a lot of people love this book. This is a standalone fantasy novel about how the king and his sons, except the bastard son, dies, and the bastard son, who looks like a goblin, has to rule. Now, the only problem is that this goblin is secreted. Is basically he is, not raised to know, political standards. He doesn't know anything about how to be a king or emperor. So, yeah, he's dumb. The character is dumb. The emperor is dumb. It's just, a lot of people like, it's in the wooden that people kill, and they try to kill him, and it's just all over the place. I felt like it wasn't as good. It just wasn't like, really that, I couldn't follow it, to be honest. You want a cookie? Okay, we'll get you one. So I couldn't follow it, and I don't know. I just didn't like this book. So that is my 5 best and 5 worst of 2018. Just comment down below if what your favorite books of 2008 were. Subscribe down below. Bobby, say it. Subscribe down below. Subscribe down below. And write down in your comments your favorite books and your worst favorite books of 2018. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!